Your right-hand side, we're passing by an actual fire station. We have our own fire department, outpost in the sheriff's station, hospital wing, gas stations, everything you need to have a little home away from home. So when you're filming here, you don't really need to leave. That's actually our middle name, City. All of the paperwork, Universal City Studios. We are currently making our way down to the front lot where we have a lot of action. We're going to drive you past 24 sound stages where your favorite TV shows and movies are getting made right now. The first stage you'll see is actually where this show films.
I'm the king of the voice! That's a lot of arrogance from someone who just lost the voice.
I love country music.
She does love country music, she just doesn't know anything about it.
I'm gonna take you down! I'm kind of country now.
So clips right here from the beginning of season 17. Blake Shelton vowing revenge to get his team the win. And then he lost. Team Kelly won the voice this past season. Next season, Nick Jonas is joining the cast inside this soundstage on your left, stage 12. They're going to start filming the blind auditions for season 18 in just a few days. This soundstage just get used and used over and over again. We're the voice films. We've had this stage since 1929. If you recognize any of these projects, they were shot inside. The reason we have so many of these stages inside, we can build virtually anything. Outdoor scenes, indoors, nighttime scenes during the day. On screen is a great example of both. This is a clip from Couples Retreat. Looks like a Hawaiian resort, 2 a.m. Take away all the sets. Here's what it looks like on the inside. Our stages start out as giant empty warehouses. And a TV show, movie, music video, commercial, they rent the space and build essentially whatever they need. It can be simple, like a bedroom closet. It can be a little more elaborate, like a full-on jungle. A lot of the Jurassic Park films shot in sound stages on this front lawn. We filmed talk shows in here, just around the corner in stage 1. Kelly Clarkson films her show, The Kelly Clarkson Show. And we're driving past one of our largest scale sets. Stages 16 and 17 on your left combined together to form the Cloud 9 set on Superstore.
Let's have some patience for one another.
Yeah, you know, the heat makes us all act.
If your face stays where it is, it's gonna get punched.
So currently in the middle of filming season 5. A lot of people ask why we don't film Superstore in an actual store. We want to have control, be able to move the camera wherever we want. We also don't want to have customers in our way or the store demanding money for the business they're losing. So usually, no matter what you're filming, it's a lot easier and a lot more controlled to rebuild it in a set like this on the front lot. The only episode of Superstore they actually filmed in a real store, the pilot, that's the test episode. They didn't want to build all that set for just one episode, so they went to the Burbank Kmart and they said, hey, we're doing a TV show, can we film here late at night when nobody's in the store? Kmart surprisingly said, yeah, for the right amount of money, you can be here, but not at night, and we're not closing the store, work around the customers. So if you watch episode 1 of Superstore, and you see any really confused shoppers in the background, they're not actors, they are real customers at the Burbank Kmart. As soon as that episode was done, they showed it to our executives in the towers back there. Loved it, gave it the green light, now we're doing season 5. Season 2 of Homecoming is filming on your right-hand side, stage 42. Janelle Monáe, Chris Cooper, Julia Roberts starred on the first season. She's still behind the scenes on the show. She's one of the main producers, so she'll visit the set. But you won't see her in front of the camera for the second season. We're also passing by an area where we do game shows. Jane Lynch comes out here in stage 44 to film this Hollywood Game
Is
Night.
worth more in Scrabble tiles. Uzo Aduba or David Oyelowo. Uzo Aduba.
Just around the corner, Steve Harvey uses stage 37 for Family Feud. And the back end here, we're passing by where we just wrapped up the final season of The Good Place. You'll see a poster for it up there, Ted Danson, Kristen Bell. The final episode starts to air in just next week. So very excited to see how that all winds down. As soon as they wrapped up, Good Girls moved in. They're filming their 3rd season, comes back February 16th. Retta, Mae Whitman, Christina Hendricks, Vanny Montana, that's their base camp over there. On your left, we have the production bungalows. These actually used to, believe it or not, be dressing rooms for some of our biggest stars. Lucille Ball would stay here for months at a time, Jimmy Stewart, Rock Hudson, John Wayne. Today we have converted them into production offices where some of the biggest writers, directors, and producers are bringing the next big idea to life. Jennifer Lopez works out of here when she's working on World of Dance. Steven Spielberg works down here. Illumination Entertainment created the Minions in these bungalows. And we'll pass by a pretty famous bungalow. You'll see this silhouette on the side of 5195. This office used to belong to Sir Alfred Hitchcock, master of terror and suspense.
Good evening. My name is Alfred Hitchcock. We all do a little match sometimes. See the blood.
On your left, one final soundstage at the front lawn. Willie Grace films in here. America's Got Talent films in here. Episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine have filmed in here. Hairspray Live filmed in here. Pretty recent soundstage. This one's apparently 100% soundproof. It's the last thing you'll see on the front line. We've been passing by a lot of closed doors. I want to take you where everything's unlocked. We're currently entering the Universal Studios back lot. Or the world is just steps away. If you want to go to Europe, we don't need to hop on a plane. New York City is just a hop and a skip away. And we have a set here for just about everything. One of the first sets you'll get to see out here, we're going to pull onto a little street called Brownstone Street. It can be any big city. It doesn't just have to be New York, but New York is the most in demand. This first set might look a little bit familiar. It was used in one of my favorite Christmas movies, Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, when Kevin's on the roof throwing bricks at his Uncle Rob's. That was right here. This was Chicago in the State with Robert Redford and Paul Newman. And it was Buffalo in Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston.
Face the dog!
I'm in the shower.
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Oh, you're done now. Great.
B-E-A-Beautiful. B-E-A-Beautiful indeed. You know what else is pretty gorgeous? How about a little time travel on your Wednesday afternoon? We're taking you into Courthouse Square. You might know it as Hill Valley from Back to the Future. And Back to the Future Part 2. Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Off to your right, this Texaco station is the diner from the first two movies. On your left, the clock tower is still here. Look inside that red door by the City Hall. The columns are still there. We had to redecorate a little bit. Audiences kept recognizing it. We'd film here a new movie and they would just yell out, "Save the clock tower!" That's where the DeLorean went in '88. So we had to make it look different enough. Underneath the little grassy circle on your left, we still have the pond. It's not filled with water right now, but if we want to do that again, we kind of take that out. Hoverboard scene happen on your left-hand side. This is our small town USA. We used to call it Mockingbird Square. That's the same courthouse from To Kill a Mockingbird that doubled as the clock tower in Back to the Future. Twilight Zone is filmed here. Gremlins, Animal House, Nutty Professor 2. We'll keep it next to one of our larger scale sets. This is New York Street. It's where we do all the things you're not allowed to do in the real New York. High-speed car chases. We filmed here Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw with Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson. Spider-Man has climbed these walls. Batman fought here in the 90s. This is where Captain America gets his powers in Captain America the First Avenger with Chris Evans. American Ninja Warrior films here as well. We're driving down the straightaway that is used as the obstacle course. But you are seeing our New York Street a little bit empty. When you film here, this is what you get. It's a blank canvas. The production designer on the film has the job of making it come alive. He'll add in little details like fire hydrants, stop signs, larger details, New York City traffic, extras coming in and out of buildings. It'll start to look a bit more like this.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here! Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
Well, we're talking New York. Figure we'll visit a friend of ours who knows a thing or two about the Big Apple himself. A giant monkey who first appeared on big screens in 1933 in an RKO film called King Kong.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times.
All right, it's about to get a little bit bumpy. While we go in, make sure to stay seated. Make sure to hang on to any loose personal items. And take pictures if you want. Just turn off all flash. Here we go. We're going to Skull Island.
Glasses on, everybody. We're back to Skull Island.
Oh man, they're burning!
Make some noise for King Kong 360 and rated. All right, hang on to those glasses. We will use those in just a little bit for something later on during the tour. That was King Kong 360 3D. It was created by Peter Jackson, the director we spoke with earlier, and some of his friends at Weta Digital. They're a New Zealand-based effects team. 6 Oscars. They've worked on projects like Avatar, Avengers Endgame, all the Planet of the Apes films that just came out in recent years, and HBO's Game of Thrones. They did a lot of the dragon and giant effects. These are the screens we use to make the image come to life. Some of the largest 3D screens in the world. They go about 40 feet high, 180 feet long, 16 projectors. And Peter Jackson, who helped build this, he visits every now and again to see how King Kong is doing. He was here about 6 months ago. He had a private VIP. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Picture Cars Live with kids from Knight Rider, the original Ferrari from Magnum VI, musical guest vehicles from the Flintstones, and your host, Fast and Furious. We have the best man at Gyros here for the recent Jurassic World films. There's a third one coming, June 11th, 2021, Jurassic World 3. Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Jeff Goldblum, and from the original trilogy, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, bringing it home for the final chapter. For now, we'll show you the original props.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
So on your left and right, real set pieces used in the first 3 Jurassic films back in the 90s. We have raptor cages and crates from the first film. There's a boat from Jurassic Park 3. A mobile lab is on your left. That dangled off the cliff in the Lost World Jurassic Park. Very dramatic scene with Julianne Moore and Vince Vaughn yelling, "Don't move!" We even have some dinosaurs. They're in those empty cages. Empty cages? Uh-oh. Hold on to your butts. Yes, at every turn of the tour, spin on by a different dinosaur. That's how we're playing. That's where that was acid. We've been training them to only spin on people wearing Disney merchandise. So hopefully that worked. They're still working on it. Weather today is great for being at a theme park. It's sunny, it's not too hot, not too cold. A lot of people don't realize weather plays a very important part in setting the tone and the mood for your favorite TV shows and movies. If we're doing a Jurassic Park film, and all the dinosaurs are on the loose about to attack, it really heightens the suspense if it's dark and rainy, like the old literary motif. It was a dark and stormy night. If there's a killer on the loose, we funnel in some fog. Now we can do all these effects even on the sunniest, calmest of days. We'll learn how to manufacture the weather ourselves, and we will show you how we do that. In our old Mexico set, we are going to make it rain. Make it rain. Make it rain on them. Sets. So take a look to your left. We'll show you how we do it. A little 3-step process. Step 1, we're going to set the ambiance. Get a little thunder and lightning queued up. Step 2, we're going to use those overhead sprinklers. The water's not going to shoot down. We're going to make it go up in the air first, so when it falls, it'll be in a more natural rain pattern. We'll cue that in 3, 2, 1. Thicker than regular rain. This is so it shows up on camera. Raindrops are clear. So we give this the extra pop it really needs to come alive. Didn't always use that technology. If you go back to the black and white films, the way we used to make rain appear, we would actually mix in powdered milk. So we saw a romantic kiss from a 20s film, and you said, "Oh, they're kissing in the rain. What an ending." They weren't kissing in rain. They were kissing in milk. A little bit less romantic, unless you're really into breakfast. But keep your eyes on the left. Phase 3 is the coolest part. We get enough pressure, you can turn a tropical storm into a natural disaster. And boom goes the dynamite. Here's those effects of Big Fat Liar and Paul Giamatti. A very funny scene.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Old Mexico set might also look familiar from the Three Amigos, the Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short. This was Tortuga in various scenes from Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl with Johnny Depp. This was Juarez, Mexico on Shameless with William H. Macy. It was Pariah in Westworld for HBO. And we'll cross the border, show you one of our oldest standing sets, 6 Points, Texas. This is where we used to do a lot of the silent westerns. We still use it a little bit today. Harrison Ford was just here filming with Buck, scenes in Call of the Wild. Also, a movie that just got the Golden Globe for Best Comedy or Musical Picture. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood shot here. Quentin Tarantino directed a lot of the Leonardo DiCaprio scenes in this area. When Rick Dalton goes to film Lancer, a lot of it took place in the Opera House we just passed on the left. That's the actual saloon they use. And it's where he has the conversation with a little girl about the books they're reading. So very fun to see this come alive. It's also been home to a lot of the classics. Westerns like Wagon Train, The Virginian, movies like Desperate Rides Again, Amistad, Saving Mr. Banks, Disney film, all of Colin Farrell scenes in Turn of the Century Australia, or right around this corner. It's also a pretty good unofficial marker of the halfway point of the tour, so just got to remind everybody, to stay seated during the entire tour. The studio is private property, and if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the red cord to get my attention. I'll be back to assist you, but do remain seated. And it was the Amazon River and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Notice the tight framing on these boat shots. You don't want to give away how small the actual Park Lake is, so tight frames. The Creature from the Black Lagoon, one of our famous monsters, he filmed in the 40s, but before him, this set was used. Hunchback of Notre Dame with Lon Chaney, Dracula with Bela Lugosi, Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, and The Invisible Man shot here. Next month, there's actually a brand new version coming to theaters with Elizabeth Moss from the geniuses at Blumhouse, who brought us films like Get Out and the Purge series. That's dropping February 28th, 2020. Currently, though, a little less scary, a little less gothic than we used it in the 30s and the 40s. Right now, it's set up to be in the good place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
9 p.m. Thursdays, mid-January, the final episodes will air. And we're about to drive past the set for Home and Family. They're a daytime talk show. They're filming right now, so I'm going to go off the mic. I'll play their clip for you quietly so you can see what it is in just a moment. So that's Home and Family filming back there. I think they're in the house right now. They do celebrity interviews, cooking segments, musical performances. Over here, we can actually show you something pretty nifty. This is a fully dressed set. While we're in here, make sure to stay seated. This is Soundstage 50. Right now, it is a metro in San Francisco, but by flipping the maps, we've used this as New York City, Washington, D.C. This is even an amusement park ride in Beverly Hills Cop 3 with Eddie Murphy. Rumor is he might do a new Beverly Hills Cop soon. He just hosted Saturday Night Live last month and killed it. So this comedic timing is just as hot as ever. This is a double-decker stage, so while we're in here, you can film on both floors. Uh-oh. Everybody's so calm. That's a small jump. You get some of these in California. That's okay. This might be the big one. It's on fire. The ground is on fire. And now the roof is on fire. And don't look now. This girl is on fire. I don't like the looks of all this raw electricity on the right. Now car 1 is almost on fire. Okay, whose time is it? 2:05. Bad news. So the 2:05 train comes. Just had to be on schedule. Okay. I think that's the last of it. Let's get out of here. Too late. Pour water. survived the earthquake, the big one, simulation of an 8.3 Richter scale quake. These are what we call practical effects, meaning we do them live, they are mechanical. You're sure to be seen and reset the train for the next tram. Or if you're filming, you're ready pretty quickly for what's called the next take. Here's an example of those effects in action on Bones with David Boreanaz and Emily DeChanel.
What's going on?
We've been through a few disasters. Let's change up the speed. Do something a bit more relaxing. A nice trip to the beach off Amity Island. I know what you're thinking. Isn't there a shark on Amity Island? There was. We caught him. I'm not too worried. There's not going to be two. I might even go for a quick swim. The mayor said it was safe to go back in the water, and if I know the mayor, he's always looking out. Dramatic tuba music. Oh, that's not good. That usually means there's a shark pretty close. We're going to need a bigger tram. Lucky for us, there's a man on the inside. That scuba diver is our friend Tomas. He'll keep us safe. Right, Tomas? No? Tomas. I don't want that to happen to you. Stay seated, stay calm. We're going to hide at the safest spot I know. Open gas cans, like the high voltage signs. Always take the dock. That is not good. Where is he now? Oh. That's our shark. Yeah, he looks a little fake up close, but I saw most of you flinch in Card 2. Y'all got scared. That's Bruce, the mechanical shark. He is nicknamed after Steven Spielberg's lawyer from the 70s, Bruce Raymer. And if you've seen Finding Nemo from Disney and Pixar, there's a shark in there named Bruce as well. Fish, all friends, not food. And Bruce is named as a tribute to our original shark from back in 1975. Now, the production did not run as smoothly as the tour version of our shark. We'll let the crew tell you what went down.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrated. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island,
O'Neill Street. But it might look familiar if you were a fan of ABC's Desperate Housewives. For 8 seasons, this was Wisteria Lane. Now the houses have been repainted, so new Nelly's Dilemma video with Kelly Rowland. Illusions. The only house you can actually live in if you wanted to is this house at the top of the hill. This is what we call a practical 2-story set. So the inside is finished. We have done filming in here for Parenthood, Abby's. A lot of these other houses are shells, meaning they're not quite facades where we only build the front and side. We build enough of the house so the camera sees. But if you try to go into some of these houses, you are not in a real home. A great example to point out on your right, there's this gray house. Look closely where there should be a living room. Can't build one, there's a giant tree growing out the side. So if you open this house, it kind of looks like a rainforest cafe. There's not even a floor. The inside on Desperate Housewives was all done in sound stages, predominantly the ones from Superstore. We also have the Hardy Boys house on your right, Yellow and Stone. And right next door, the Munsters. This off Lilac house is the original 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Beige house on the right was used for the 1950 film Harvey with Jimmy Stewart. And the last house on the right, used in a very short-lived Animal House TV spinoff called Delta House. On your left, Nancy Drew and Matlock. A lot of mysteries solved on this street. The one mystery that never got fully explained in a pretty epic movie used Wilderness Road. Sandra Bullock was filming out here for Bird Box. So if you saw Bird Box, you might recognize some of these trees. And if you were in Bird Box, you won't recognize any of these trees. She was out here wearing a blindfold running through the woods for what is called pickup shots. That is the close-ups. So Netflix went to a real ripper for those beautiful wides, and the tight close-ups happened right here. The trams saw her. They were like, hey, is that Sandra Bullock? And I wasn't allowed to say because it was a pretty big secret movie. We were like, I don't know what you're looking at. But yeah. Some really cool technology. Back in 2000, we still don't have the technology to just blast Christmas lights on a house. What they're doing here, they rigged up a machine to rip the lights off of the house, and they are playing the scene backwards. So it looks like this is getting shot right on there. Whoville, mostly composed of styrofoam, a little bit of chicken wire holding it together. These are our few wooden sets. We kept them on the back lot. But there were 11 sound stages worth of production use on the film. I felt bad for the Who's. At the end of filming, the Grinch became nice. He was their friend. And an even meaner neighbor moved in. Let's just say this guy was a psycho. The Bates Motel sets from the Psycho movie franchise. And at the top of the hill, the original Psycho house. That's Norman. That's Norman Bates. Okay, I don't know what he's still doing here. I thought he moved. I heard a rumor that he's changed his ways. He's no longer a killer. He does a lot of charity work. He reads to the kids. He's been volunteering at a local animal. I'm wrong. I'm so wrong. That's good old Norman. They're not filming you. They're doing front-facing selfies. You don't believe it. He doesn't believe it. That was close. We all are being so nonchalant back there. You're filming him and waving at him. That's a serial killer. Have some awareness. That's not even our Norman Bates. Our guy called. The backyard is pretty creepy as well. This is an alien attack from a Steven Spielberg movie called War of the Worlds, based on an H.G. Wells novel of the same name. Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning starred. And if you're looking at that plane thinking that was a lot more realistic compared to everything else, that's because that's a real plane. That's a Boeing 747 air carrier. Retired from flights, it was in an airplane graveyard. 375,000 pounds! It was shipped here on flatbed trucks to make this magic.
The airplane press site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something we don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. That's how I help. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Got them closed?